Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moments Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with the wonderful Sid Roeder. Sid, good morning.
Good morning, Bryce. How is the wonderful Bryce doing today?
You know, I'm a little bleary-eyed. I need something to wake me up, but that's all right. I'm here, and I'm happy. We've got a fun guest that I'm excited to talk with here in a little bit. But before we do that, would you mind telling us all about our sponsor?
I love talking about our sponsor, which is the Empowering Seniors Group, a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really all of the wonderful people that like to listen to us early Saturday morning. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, if you'd like to have Bryce's personal phone number, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Wow. Wow. That was fantastic.
I had to slide that in one day.
Did. Yeah. No, I want them calling you. That's for sure. You'll probably respond a little better than I will.
You think?
I think so. Awesome. Let's get to our guest. We have Amber Anderson. She is an occupational therapy assistant with us. And Amber, we got connected. You know, you're going in homes and helping people, and that's kind of my realm. But for our guests that don't know you, can you kind of tell us about yourself and what you're doing right now?
Yes, absolutely. And thanks again for having me here today. So I'm an occupational therapy assistant. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I have spent majority of my time working in skilled nursing facilities. I currently work in one here in the Valley, as well as doing some home health care with that. I decided, I found a big need for people to want to continue their therapy outside of what the skilled nursing facility and home health care companies offer. And I decided that I wanted to do this. I love what I do, and I'm trying to make my way into this.
So what does it look like for some of your clients? You mentioned that some clients would just like to keep up what they're doing currently, but does this also apply for people that maybe have a different need?
Yes, absolutely. So I have my company Movement and In-Home Safety Advocates, and this is to help people stay moving in their home, continue those exercises that they've been told that they should be doing, that a lot of them stop doing once no one is checking in on them every day. And also for people who, maybe haven't been to a skilled nursing facility, but they just want to stay strong and they want to keep moving and they want somebody there to help them and someone who knows what they're doing. And that's where I come in with my background. And I'm passionate about keeping people healthy and strong so they can age in place gracefully.
So one of the things I thought was, we were talking before this, was pretty interesting was, with home health or with different things, insurance is paying for it, and they'll only give you so much. And like you said earlier, all too often, as soon as someone's not checking in and insurance stops paying for things, that's when really they start digressing again. And so your goal with this, if I understand right, is that you're hoping to continue that, allowing people that you can come into their home and still be able to help them on a personal level, continue once the home health agency's out or the insurance is not paying for those visits anymore. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Like I've said, I've been working in a skilled nursing facility and with a home health company for over 10 years. And I've had several of my clients say, hey, I just want to keep working with you. I wish I could just pay you privately to come in and keep moving and keep exercising me. I love what you do. And so that's where I come in. I've had such great success with some of my clients that I've been seeing, where just the consistency of staying moving. I have my grandpa who is a frequent flyer at the hospital for the majority of my life that, I remember he's been in and out of the hospital. And I said, Grandpa, we can't do this anymore. You need to be moving. I was seeing him with his insurance, through home health, and then it ended And I said, I'm just going to come see you. And now I have him coming, working with me twice a week. And he has been as strong, probably the strongest he's been in a long time, just from that consistency. I've also had people who just need to walk. They say, I just want you to come in and walk with me 5 days a week. And that has been amazing to see how they're not, up and running marathons, but they are staying healthy, staying strong. When they've gotten sick, they're able to bounce back quicker and they're not ending up back in the hospital. And that's my goal, is to keep people out of the hospital. Let's keep them strong, keep them moving. Our whole bodies function a whole lot better when we're active, and having somebody there to be an advocate for them is crucial.
So, Amber, if this conversation strikes a chord with someone out there who has maybe previously had some therapy and things have gone downhill, and they'd like to get in touch with you and find out what you can do for them, what's a good contact?
Yes, my phone number is 435-535-1280.
Thank you. And we'll be sure to mention that again down the road. If you are one of our listeners, want to grab a piece and paper and be ready for that in case you'd like to make contact with Amber. We'll mention that again in another segment.
So Amber, if you talked about this a little earlier about movement and different things and how people stop moving, and so you're trying to motivate them to move. What kind of movements, or what does movement play in health in our seniors?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of us, a lot of people, as they get older, they stop moving as much. They don't have as many things to keep them busy. So, our muscles tighten up. A lot of our muscles, we're not stretching them. We're not going through the range of motion with all of our joints. And so by keeping our bodies strong and healthy and going through, raising our arms, stretching out our legs, any of that is going to help us maintain a good quality of life and be able to keep engaging in our daily activities, being able to get out of bed, get out of the chair, make ourselves meals, move around our house, and continue to engage in life.
This just made me think a little bit too, if there are some neighbors that would like to gather and have a group type of setting and have you come in and teach them all some exercises. Is that something that's an option?
Yes, I love that idea. I think there's power in numbers. And one of the wonderful things I love about the facility I work in is that you have people who relate to each other. Everyone's going through something. Everyone might have some sort of weakness that they're working on, and be able to band together and come together as a group is a wonderful thing, and it builds relationships. And that's something I love about my job.
Thank you, Amber. This is the Senior Moments Show. We are coming up on our first break, so I do want to take a short minute and talk about our sponsor one more time. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, and if you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Need a helping hand? The Bear River Association of Governments, also known as BRAG, is here for you.
They assist seniors with in-home services, provide utility bill relief through the HEAT program, and offer rental assistance to keep you housed.
Need help with tax prep? Their experts ensure you get the refund you deserve. And for veterans, they're here to connect you with the benefits you've earned.
BRAG is your local resource for a stronger today and a more secure future. Call today or visit brag.utah.gov.
At Maple Springs Senior Living in North Logan, we understand that entrusting the care of your loved one to someone else is a decision not taken lightly. That's why we go above and beyond to create a nurturing environment where your family becomes our family.
When I found Maple Springs, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. The staff here really cares, and Mom is thriving.
The activities and social events have brought so much joy to Dad's life. I can see a positive change every time I visit.
We know that your loved one's well-being is your top priority, and it's ours too.
Learn more at maplesprings.living.com. This is Scott Robinson, owner of Cache Valley Pharmacy. At Cache Valley Pharmacy, we offer so many services, from free delivery to custom packaging. We pride ourselves in our compounding. We love it so much that we've partnered with Focus Pharmacology, Cache Valley's own premier supplement line, and we're throwing in a free bottle of supplements with every new custom compound prescription. You heard me right, a free bottle with every new compounded prescription. So when your doctor asks where you want your prescription sent, tell them Cache Valley Pharmacy. Cache Valley Pharmacy, keeping it local, online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
Hi, this is Tyler. Recently, my father passed away, and White Pine provided the funeral services for our family. They were friendly, thoughtful, and attentive to every detail. You know, it isn't often that a loved one passes away, so it was very important to my family that everything be handled just right. Because my dad was loved by so many people, we had a lot of family and friends that traveled from out of town. I really appreciate how White Pine Funeral Services made sure everyone was comfortable and that the focus was where it needed to be, on my dad and my family. They really took care of us during this tender time.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been talking with Amber all about your new company, as well as, you know, helping seniors move and be fit and get things going. And if anyone's interested or wants to pick your brain more about this and the services you offer, would you mind sharing your phone number and how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. So the best way to contact me is going to be by phone. Once again, my phone number is 435-535-1280. If they just want to give me a call, I'd be happy to sit down and talk with them for a minute and explain my services and what I can offer and how we can work together.
Oh, that's awesome. So speaking of services, you've been talking about helping people get up and move and different things. What all's your scope that you're hoping? Is it just exercise, or are you doing more than just exercise with this?
Yes. So as an occupational therapy assistant that I've worked for over a decade, I come with a lot of skill set and a lot of background and knowledge to help you really thrive in your home setting. Some of the services that I offer will be in-home exercises. They'll be tailored to your needs to keep you moving confidently and safely. That might include some exercise programs that we develop together, and I'll take in mind any sort of, you know, injury or lack of range of motion that you have with my knowledge base. We can also just do simple range of motion and stretching. Some people, you know, aren't able to really even get up and move around, and that's okay. I can still work with them because our bodies still need to be stretched. I have a client who loves massages, and she said, you've got to tell people about this, because having you come into my home and be able to just give me a massage and work out these knots, you know, in my legs has helped me tremendously. And so that's something I love doing, and I take pride in that as well. I can also do safety assessments around your home. As an OTA, my background is, you know, making sure you're safe in your home. So I can go in and say, hey, look, you know, these rugs aren't very safe. We need to get these out of here. A lot of falls happen in the bathroom. So I go in and I can say, let's remove these bath rugs. You should really get a grab bar here or a grab bar there. Or maybe you need to have, you know, a shower bench put in. All of these things are within my scope of practice that I've been doing for so long, and I love it. I thrive on going in and helping make these adjustments. Sometimes their kitchens aren't set up for them to function, you know, the best that they can. They might have their heavy pots and pans way up high or way down low. You know, I can go in and say, let's make these suggestions of where we can place the things you use the most and make sure that you're, you know, getting around okay and safely. There might be things that I see people do sometimes where I'm like, okay, we should definitely not be using that step stool anymore. That's not very safe. I know that's your favorite pot, but we don't need to put it up on the top shelf. You know, you don't need that footstool. Let's get rid of that. Let's put the pot down here where you can access it easily. Same with simple things as navigating around their home. A lot of times people have a lot of clutter in their home, a lot of furniture. And, we can't remove everything, but I can help build different patterns so they can move safely around their home, move safely around your kitchen, make sure you're able to cook a meal safely, whether that's implementing, maybe a new assistive device like a walker or a basket on the walker, getting them new patterns to perform their daily activities with greater safety.
That's amazing. So how does that typically look? Do you have a contract with people? Is it a long-term commitment when you do exercises? I assume some of those home safety evaluations are maybe just a one-time visit.
Yes, so it can really be tailored to your needs of whatever that looks like. If you just want somebody to come in and kind of give you suggestions on your living situation or, modifications that need to be had, I can absolutely do that. What I would love to do is build a long-term relationship with my clients and to be able to foster this sense of community with them and their family, building trust with them. And, whether that's I come in a couple times a week and work with these people, or once a week, maybe there's a time where they're feeling like I just need a break and, we can pause for a minute and then we can always restart. But my goal for this is to help bring in that consistency. We have wonderful skilled nursing facilities here in the Valley that provide exceptional care to help get people stronger, and wonderful home health companies that come in to help that transition when they're home. And there are a few other options with insurance base, but me coming in, I want to help bridge that after you're done and after your insurance says, okay, we've paid for everything we want to pay. I want to come in and I want to help you maintain that. So whatever that looks like for you, it can be variable, and there's no long-term commitment. There's no harsh contracts or anything either. I just want it to be a good working relationship to make sure it works for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you had me really, I love the safety evals on things. So my question is there certain things that you see in people's homes that is usually a little more of a safety hazard than other things?
Yes. Rugs. We tend to love our rugs, and we have them in every room, sometimes in unnecessary spots. I've even had to have the same conversation with my own grandparents, saying, Grandma, this isn't necessary. Why do we have this rug here? And, she'll say, well, my feet get cold. And I understand that. And maybe I make suggestions like, let's get you some grippy, nice, warm socks to have there instead. But rugs, definitely, a lot of people will have just a lot of clutter, and whether they, normally they don't intentionally want to have it there, but me being able to come in and even giving a helping hand to clear it out. I know these are very valuable things, but let's make space so you can navigate around furniture. A lot of people, speaking of furniture, love to furniture walk. And so going in and saying, hey, you leaning on that side table right there, that's going to tip over, or you grabbing onto that toilet paper roll in your bathroom to stand up isn't going to hold you. Let's substitute that. So a lot of little things, honestly, will come into play that can be hazardous that many people won't think about.
Thank you. I was just thinking it strikes a chord with me in regards to maybe also having you come in and evaluating a senior's home as a child to see what needs to be done to facilitate staying in place for as long as humanly possible. How long does such an evaluation typically go?
I would plan on about 30 to 45 minutes to make sure we get a thorough walkthrough of the home and to get a good idea of what we can do and making suggestions on what we should implement.
That's great. And do you put those on paper so people can make sure that they don't miss anything if there's a whole list?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm happy to sit down with the person or their family and look up options to make sure they make the correct choices.
And before we get into the break, Amber, we have time for your phone number one more time.
Yes, it's 435-535-1280.
Thank you so much. This is the Senior in Moment Show. We are at our second break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
You know, now that all the kids are gone, there's more house than we can handle.
This old back isn't quite what it used to be.
That's not the only thing. But anyway, the kids say, put it online.
Yeah, but I can hardly operate the Facebook, let alone list our house.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. There are big advantages when working with a realtor, and I have special experience working with seniors. Let me earn your trust. Call me at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
Are you tired of feeling unwell and not knowing why? At Next Level Health and Wellness, we hear you. We specialize in uncovering the root causes of your discomfort, whether it's gut health, hormone imbalances, or emotional and mental blocks. With personalized plans, advanced lab testing, and evidence-based holistic nutrition practices, we guide you toward lasting health and wholeness. Awaken your healing potential with a team that listens, understands, and supports you wherever you are. Visit nextlevelhw.com to start your journey to feeling better today.
Getting around your home should be easy and safe. At RT Med Mobile, they provide wheelchairs, stair lifts, ramps, and electric lift chairs to help seniors maintain independence and comfort. Their friendly team offers free in-home consultations to find the perfect solution for you or your loved one. Locally owned and here to help. Call 435-260-6171 today. RT Med Mobile, because your mobility matters.
And welcome back to the Senior Moments Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been with Amber Anderson talking about all sorts of fun things with home care, home safety, different things, your company movement, and in-home safety advocates. And so I was curious, you know, we talked about someone being on home health and then graduating out and still wanting services. I imagine that when you go in and meet with somebody, you can probably utilize some of the exercises the OT or PT was doing earlier. But what if this is something they're like, hey, you know what, I want to just prevent whatever I can. So I'm going to call Amber and see what's going on. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I would come in and sit down and have a good conversation with you and figure out what your goals are. I think the beauty of, you know, my company that I've started is that it's not dictated by any insurance or measurements. And so we can kind of work one-on-one with you personally and develop what you want to work on. Maybe you have a goal that you want to be able to, you know, have stronger legs or stronger arms, or you want to be able to get to your kids' soccer game without being fatigued. And so that includes a lot of walking or building up your activity, you know, tolerance. So it's really personalized. It really depends on what you can do because everyone has different limitations. So it's not a cut and dry program. I'm not going to come in and say, you want to do exercise, here you go. I'm going to sit down and talk with you and say, do you want to strengthen your arms? Do you want to strengthen your core? Do you want to strengthen your legs? Do you just want to have greater range of motion? Did you have a shoulder surgery and you don't have as much range of motion anymore? I'm going to be hands-on with you. Once again, going back to my client who loves getting the massages, I have seen such great power in massage and working with the muscles, you know, hands-on, figuring out what's going on, why is there limited range of motion, and being able to really help you find success in what we're doing. So it's very, very tailored. And that's something I love about my job is that I can come in and do what you want. You know, you're not just going somewhere and having to do what the other person wants you to do. You get to have a say. And if you want to ever switch it up, we switch it up. And we just continue down that path.
Sounds like a very rewarding thing. Are there any other stories that come to mind that you could share where somebody maybe had a goal that they achieved?
Yes. So I have a wonderful client who I had the privilege of working with in the skilled nursing setting and also with home care. And she said, Amber, I just love working with you. I wish you could keep seeing me. You know, I don't like that my insurance doesn't give us this many visits. You know, could you just work with me, And so after going through all the hoops and making sure I could, obviously, I said, yes, I'm able to continue working with you and we can just work on whatever you want. And I took it personal when she said, in a good way, when she said that she wanted to keep working with me, and I made it a personal mission to say, I'm going to keep you out of the hospital. I wanted to see her succeed. And I think that's what is so great about my job is I love working with this population. They have so much to offer. And so as much as I'm helping them succeed, maybe by staying moving and staying out of the hospital and staying healthy and strong, they give me so much care back. We get to know each other on a personal level. And with this specific client, she has just been thriving. And it's amazing to see because once again, we were seeing this person, over and over, just from being a frequent flyer at the hospital and not getting that attention and consistency in her movement. And that's what I want to offer to so many more people.
So Amber, you're super passionate. You can just tell why when you're talking about this, but have you always been this passionate about this, or is it something that you just kind of stumbled on a few years ago?
Yeah. So when I initially decided to become an occupational therapy assistant, first I wanted to be a nurse, maybe a social worker, a psychologist, and I finally stumbled upon occupational therapy assistant, and it just fits everything because not only do I get to come in and exercise with people, but I get to develop those relationships. I get to be their friend and build those relationships with them and their family and just become, close in that way as well. So when I first graduated, I thought I definitely want to work in pediatrics. And those jobs are hard to come by. And so my first job was actually in a skilled nursing facility out in California. And that's really where my passion grew. I realized I love working with this geriatric population, and they have so much to give, and you find such great success in working with them and building, I think, up their confidence a little bit. I've mentioned my grandpa a lot. People will lose their hearing or their sight or their abilities, and they once lived a wonderful, grand life, just like we're living now, and to be able to appreciate them for that. And I just love this population so much, and they have, like I said, so much to offer, and I want to help them in return.
That is fabulous. Do you find often that patients come from therapy and feel that it's not enough?
Yes, I really do. And it's been a wonderful kind of market to bridge into to offer them that consistency. All too often, people are given a lot of attention here in the skilled nursing facilities, and then they go home and they miss it. They miss us coming to do exercises with them, and they want to stay strong. And they'll mention over and over how, I was here before, and I just went home and I stopped moving, and here I am again.
Thank you, Amber. I think that is a wonderful service that you provide. We are coming to the end of our show, so I want to give you the opportunity to mention your phone number one more time.
435-535-1280.
Thank you, Amber. It was great to visit with you and learn so much about possibilities of going on with treatment or starting a new treatment with you and looking at home safety. This is the Senior Moment Show. We are at the end. We hope you tune in again next week.